What's up, gamers? This is Jeremy, aka JB Huskers, with this edition of Game Changers Fantasy Focus TV. What we're going to do is take a look at the top 5 performances from Week 2, and we're also going to take a look at Week 3, where we're going to give you 5 waiver wire pickups for you to try to grab off the free agency wire to help you out for this coming week. The number 1 overall performance in Week 2 of fantasy football comes as a surprise, but it comes from the rookie Jahvid Best out of Detroit. He had exploded onto the scene this week with a total of 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground with 78 yards rushing, 1 in the air, 9 catches, 154 yards. He's already got 5 touchdowns on the season. He is clearly hands down the top fantasy performer this week, and he could easily grab Rookie of the Year if he keeps this going. The number 2 fantasy performance of the week comes from backup running back Jason Snelling of the Atlanta Falcons. He had totaled up 129 yards on the ground, 57 through the air, 3 total touchdowns to lead the Falcons on a huge victory over the Cardinals. Fantasy knowers, though, do not get too excited. Michael Turner is expected to play in Week 3. This guy had an off week in the first week of the season, but he came back with a vengeance in Week 2. Houston Texans quarterback Matt Schaub threw for 497 yards, along with 3 touchdowns on the game. A lot of those targets going to Andre Johnson and Kevin Walter. Schaub definitely came back this week to jump into the 3rd slot for the best fantasy performances of this week. On Monday Night Football, this game produced a tie with Matt Schaub for the 3rd best performance of the week. Frank Gore in a gutsy performance against the defending champions, the New Orleans Saints. Gore went for 112 on the ground, 56 through the air, 2 total touchdowns. Unfortunately, it was not enough to derail the defending champions on Monday Night Football. However, Frank Gore comes in tied for number 3 this week on the top fantasy performances. Our 5th and final top performance of the week comes from the Philadelphia Eagles. LeSean McCoy, running back, ended up with a total of 3 touchdowns, 120 yards on the ground. Not many yards in the air, but he did have 4 catches, so in those points per reception league, each reception definitely counts for you. Mike Vick is definitely getting this Eagle offense into a well-oiled machine, and LeSean McCoy is definitely being a benefactor of this well-oiled offense. We are now going to take a look at 5 guys that might be available on that free agent waiver wire just for you to pick up, maybe even start in Week 3. We're going to start with the Houston Texans. Kevin Walter, amazingly, is available in a lot of leagues. He's available in at least 2/3 of the leagues on Yahoo and at least 80% of the leagues on ESPN. It's kind of amazing that he's still there. But after last week's game against the Washington Redskins, 11 catches, 144 yards, and a touchdown, it is clear to see that definitely Kevin Walter is the opposite, the 2nd best choice for Matt Schaub, opposite of Andre Johnson. Our next waiver wire pickup may be a surprise to you because you probably think he's not out there in the waiver wire, but Mark Sanchez of the New York Jets, he could very well be out there for you. I myself cut him after Week 1 after that performance against the Ravens, but hindsight is 20/20. He bounced back against the New England Patriots, 3 touchdowns, 220 yards passing. There may be a chance that somebody may have cut him like I did in Week 1. Maybe go out there and look to see if Mark Sanchez is available for you. The Buccaneers are off to a surprising 2-0 start, and one of the top reasons why they are is due to quarterback Josh Freeman. The former K-State gunslinger had 2 touchdowns last week for 178 yards, also got 43 yards on the ground. Now, he may not get you those huge points from week to week, but once those bye weeks start creeping up on you, Josh Freeman of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers may be a great backup for you. Take a look and see if he's out there in your... Next up on the waiver wire pickups is from the Denver Broncos, Demaryius Thomas. He's a rookie out of Georgia Tech, and he tore it up in Week 2 for you. Kyle Orton had about 300 yards passing. A lot of those passing yards went to Demaryius Thomas. 8 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. They have a lot of weapons in Denver, so you may want to pick them up, put them on the bench just in case Kyle Orton starts to target him more often, but when you got Eddie Royal, Brandon Lloyd, and Jabbar Gaffney, that definitely the wide receiver core could be a little clogged up, but 8 catches for 97 yards and a touch last week is definitely something you don't want to ignore. Our next waiver wire pickup comes out of the Cleveland Browns. This is a guy I kind of tabbed as a sleeper on draft day. Got him real late in a couple of leagues. Joshua Cribbs, normally known as a kick returner, but Eric Mangini is trying to get him into the offense. First week of the season, he didn't really do too much, but last week, 3 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. That touchdown was a 65-yarder, though, so it could be feast or famine with Joshua Cribbs. But you definitely want to pick him up, maybe stash him on your bench, see if he gets involved in that offense from week to week. If he does, he's definitely going to be a good pickup for you in fantasy football. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Game Changers Fantasy Focus TV. Hope you enjoyed this week's show. Make sure to check out the rest of the blog below for our predictions using the Madden NFL 11 Sim. Also, we got the NFL.com rankings for the week too. If you have any fantasy football questions, make sure you check out the EA forums under NFL Talk, or you can also send an email to GameChangersFantasyFocus@gmail.com. Good luck in week 3, and we hope to see you back next week. Good luck in week 3, and we hope to see you back next week.